Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Starward Rogue. During the last part, I continued my run using the blacksmith mech Grimm through floors 4 and 5, and I skipped past the warden encounter thanks to the 4th dimension consumable. So I made it to the entrance of floor 6, and lo and behold, it's going to be a golden floor. In fact, this is going to be the deepest golden floor I've ever encountered in this LP, ever since I started playing with the AuGMENTED expansion. So this is going to be quite a thing, although so far my luck has been pretty good, but golden floors are quite difficult, and from what I've heard they get even more difficult following the post-warden floors. So let's hope I can survive long enough to face Terminus. And before I begin, as a quick disclaimer, I would like to thank Arcen Games for sending me keys for both Starward Rogue and its AuGMENTED expansion. With that out of the way, let's begin our run through floor 6. Oh, okay, so now I know what this does. One of the developers of the game mentioned that in order to figure out what each tile does, you can press F3, hover over it, and it'll tell you what each does. This is destructible cover, and this is an energy regeneration point, so anytime you want to be in a battle and you need to regenerate energy, stand on this, and we'll be able to use our secondary weapons more often. That'll be really helpful in the future, especially during certain boss fights. What do these do? Oh, okay, it just blocks shots. That's simple. I thought it was something more special in regards to shields. Guess not. Oh, so these fan-like things actually increase the damage I do. I thought they just elevated me above the ground. Well, okay then. I know where to stand now. Alright, random attack droid, primary weapon energy, I'll go for random attack droid. So what do we get? Okay, bullet droid. And unlike the other things, it adds to the amount of weapons I have, or droids. Unlike when we create a new weapon or energy weapon which replaces it, this just adds to it. That's why I always prefer taking those instead. And there's the boss of the stage, which I'll ignore for now because I want to get more goodies first. One word. Ouch. Okay, 60, that was awesome. I was lucky that time. But boy, that Banshee trap room was quite scary. I remember facing one earlier, but it wasn't as bad as this one, mainly because the Banshees fired a lot slower. But of course that was on floor 3, and this is on floor 6, so they fired much more rapidly here. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. It has much less usages, or rather it has much less energy use. It has much better range, but it has extreme knockback or something. I'll take a look at that weapon once I complete this floor because I want to check to see if there's any robotic shops here. Because if there are, I want to go for those first. Because the extreme knockback seems a bit worrying, especially with enemies with a lot of projectiles. Though that sounds pretty promising. And I was right, there was a robotics shop here. Red crystal beamer and autocannon. I would love to have that secondary, but I find the robotics ones to be a bit better, mainly because they're always active, and unlike energy weapons, I don't have a recharge. I don't have that perk yet, unfortunately. Well, if I do get enough credits, I'll go for that over the emulation mini-bot, mainly because this leaves only a flaming trail. But if I can't, I won't shed any tears. Okay then, I have no problems getting that other item because I have the Imperial tab now. Thanks game, or rather thanks for completing that probation, it wasn't that hard anyway. Thanks to the consumable shop. Now I just need to get all the missiles back because I spent a lot of missiles back in that room. After all, I will need them for the boss fight, I suppose, depending on how difficult it's gonna be. Now, I know in the blood shop or sacrificial shop, there is an upgrade called Health for Weld or something, where I can sacrifice my health for more credits, but I'd rather not risk it, especially on this floor. Plus, I'm not sure if floor 7 will also be a golden floor. If it is, I'll need all the health I can get. Then again, I could always just make a beeline for Terminus there, and the gold Terminus floors aren't really that different from the normal ones. At least that's what I think. And this is the wrong way for the shop. Let's see, where was it? Okay, it was right over here. And I know there was a teleporter right at the shop, but I can't access it for whatever reason. Oh well, I'll just go there manually then. Alright, let's utilize our Imperial tab and see what it has to offer. Alright, let's see how this one works. Oh, wow, that's why it has a toggle on and off mode, I see. It deals an immense amount of damage, I can understand that, but... well, you can see the problem here. And no matter how far I can go forward, I cannot resist the knockback. That's gonna cause some serious boss fights, or serious problems during boss fights, especially Terminus, so I'll have to refuse that weapon. And I really don't want to kill off the weapon shopkeeper yet, mainly because there may be one in the next floor, and they may have some good items, or upgrades. So we're all set for this floor. I cleared the majority of it. The only thing left is, of course, to fight the boss. Which is conveniently nearby. Thankfully the teleport is working this time. And I have plenty of health to restore, or plenty of health consumables to utilize. I just hope it isn't too difficult. Especially considering I don't have something like an OP mech like Zephyr. So let's hope for the best. Carry on, engine. Oh, okay, we need to kill off these big circles. Okay, that's what his weakness is, or weak point. Oh, goody, I don't really have the normal missiles, so I can't destroy those usually. Or the way I normally do. So it's kind of like the first phase of Warden, where it's completely immune to my attacks until I destroy the center, and now the center is weak. And now everything is blowing up everywhere. Let me just spam missiles, after all, I'll restore all of them in the future. And it wasn't that bad. I only took 5 points of damage. Nah, that's not really good. Now it is time to race backwards and collect all the health I lost. I really should be spamming my missiles more at the end of each boss fight, or the end floor boss fight, especially because I have the resupply, which refills all my missiles at the beginning of each floor. Well, it won't really be helpful in the next floor, of course, mainly because the only boss there is Terminus. Otherwise, floor 6 wasn't that bad, outside of a few worrying floors like the Banshee Trap. That was kind of scary. And I got to utilize the new heavyweight cannon, although I wouldn't utilize it unless I have a knockback resistance upgrade or perk. There probably is one in the game somewhere. So we're on to the 7th and final floor, and thankfully it's a regular floor and non-gold floor. And we'll get a bundle of items, although I probably won't utilize it. I will want a consumable for Terminus though. So as usual, I'll explore the majority of this floor, or all of it as possible, then I'll recollect all the things I got just before the Terminus encounter, then fight Terminus. Another thing I'm really thankful for is there's no gold variations of the bubble enemies. At least that's what I think, I haven't encountered them yet. I forgot they kind of existed up to this point, mainly because I went to a gold floor version of floor 6, and bubbles don't start appearing until you go to floor 6 and beyond. Unless you play on hard mode, of course. Well, I've encountered this room, so you know what that means. Well, first repair putty. Now kill off the shopkeeper. Darn, didn't get the one this time. I was hoping to repeat my previous success, but guess not. Creator is nice, Minimalist is the opposite, but I don't really have the Alpha Mech, so this is not going to be really helpful. So instead I'll take Confidence. As long as I can keep my high damage, it's going to be useful. Oh. Double damage at full health and half damage otherwise. I thought it would be scaling based off of health. Oh, I realized that I forgot. By buying this, it didn't activate it as an incredibility spawn. Okay, let's use the creator. That seems to be pretty useful for now. I have 111 credits though, so there are a lot of places where I should be spending them if I can find them. That over there is a case of I couldn't see what was going on. The red projectiles were really hard to see with this orange background, so that's why I took massive damage there. I didn't realize I was getting hit by things. This would be nice, especially because I'm near the end of the run, so... I'll look into this actually. This is quite nice. As I mentioned, it's only really good if you have all the perks you need, because after this you cannot pick up any items. So if I die during the boss fight, I will revive myself and I'll be able to survive at the very least and extend my health. But I will lose 5 max HP though. Once again, another instance of that. This background is really terrible for the red enemies, or enemies with red projectiles, because I keep getting hit by them because I can't properly see them. And I ended up having to use my repair putty there because I almost died. The Across series is always annoying, especially with just one shield. Still, I'll take the Turbo Blaster over this. I'll take the more risky approach. I have much more experience on Terminus, so I think I'll be able to win the fight against it. But I really want to max out my health, and I am out of consumables now. Well, there is one consumable down over there which I didn't use, which was Code Annihilate, so I'll have to take that, I have no choice. And I need more consumables now, so I'll take that as well. Once again, the red background is really making this floor the hardest part. It isn't really the enemy combinations, it's more like the floor, which makes several of these projectiles a lot harder to see. Ah, the final robotic shop. I was looking for this. So another crazy amount of credits, and my apologies, shopkeeper. But I want to risk it for the one and I don't get it. Oh well. Well, I think I explored the rest of this floor. Thankfully there were no condemned chambers. I'm really thankful for that. And I'm back up to full. I have Code Annihilate. And I have full missile capacity. I think I'll stave off from picking the Necromancer build. Oh sure, it'll give me less risk, but I want to keep my 23 health. I'll play it a little bit more risky for this one, but I think I'm all set. Also, I do not want to get that other ability which increases the number of enemies. That may cause some problems during Terminus. Otherwise, I think I'm all set. As promised, here are the crazy number of abilities or perks I've got. Using this hull type / mech type, this isn't the most number of power-ups I got throughout a run, but this is still a crazy amount. After all, I think I have at least 7 bots or familiars with me. It's quite crazy. And because I kept specializing on my primary weapon, it does a crazy amount of damage. Plus, if you look at it, I have over 420 energy, so I can use my boomerang needler 42 times, which is quite insane. I didn't expect this mech to get that crazy amount of energy. But overall, this floor was not as good as floor 6, especially due to some issues with discerning the background from red shots. But other than that, I think I enjoyed it. I got everything I need for the boss fight. So without further ado, let's fight Terminus. And down goes Terminus. Oh sure, I took 9 points of max HP damage, or 9 HP damage, as well as 1 shield point of damage, but I think I did pretty well. I didn't have the 1, so it made it a bit more difficult, and especially because there are some red projectiles on the red background. I still hold by the statement that the core blade and core razor parts of the fight are the most challenging parts, at least on normal mode. I would say the final phase of Terminus, the final 2 are kind of the easiest ones. And the fights against Palisade and the other one are much easier than the core blade and core razor, mainly due to the fact they fire less projectiles, or rather, their projectiles are a lot more predictable of where they're going, as opposed to the core series. But this is taken on the normal difficulty. That may change on the hard mode settings. So overall, the Blacksmith Mech Grimm was a pretty fun encounter. Although near the end, I relied much more on my energy weapons as well as my modules and robots, more than the weaponsmithing ability. Oh sure, it was pretty nice to have the choices, but it kind of tapered off near the end. If there's one way to improve Grimm, it would be to give more options to craft more weapons more often. Because I only saw 3 or 4 instances of that. I would expect to have at least 5 or 6, or at least half of its perks to focus more on that. Maybe not craft new weapons, but also upgrade current ones, if that's possible. I do like the other part of the Blacksmith protocol where all locked chests now contain only weapon items, or weapon-related items. That's a good trade-off, and I think that works well. Thankfully, the higher energy capacity and higher number of missiles was also pretty useful, especially when combined with the resupply ability. That really carried me to the end, and I never had to replace my Boomerang Needler, mainly due to the very high energy reserves I had, and how useful it was. And the base weapons that we can get aren't that bad either. Once I got the smart gun, as well as the more rapid fire weapon, I was all set for the rest of the run. So in the next part, I'll either try out hard mode again using my new technique, or I'll try creating my own OP mech to run on hard mode. Well then, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Toodles!